I knew I had to eventually review at least one or two of these, because these are so hard to watch. And a lot of times these movies their plot or story are so confusing, that I couldn't really understand what was going on. So I'm going to be reviewing one of Steven Seagal's direct-to-video, let alone his bullshit direct-to-video movies. Thing is, though, like I said, I love Steven Seagal's golden movies, from Above the Law all the way up to Fire Down Below, and I liked Eggs and Wounds as well from 2001. But the thing is, though, I mean, there's direct videos he did in between them. Like after Fire Down Below, he did The Patriots. That sucked. There was Ticker, and then Eggs and Wounds, and then he did Half Past Dead. That was a little flop. But that was it. After Half Past Dead, that was his last film to be released in theaters. That was in 2002, until 8 years later, in 2010, he did Machete. But since then, and still onward, this is the start of his direct-to-video movies. Yeah, this is the start of it. The Foreigner, from 2003. So yeah, 20 years ago. Yeah, 2003, 2023. 20 years ago. 20 years ago, yeah, and he's still doing direct-to-video movies. He made like 200 of them within the. He probably made like 250 movies within the span of 20 years. And plus, The Foreigner. Which the thing is, though, I'd rather watch the 2017 movie The Foreigner with Jackie Chan. Which I was not really big on that movie, though, but thing is, though, with 2017's The Foreigner with Jackie Chan, I think he did a good job of that movie, because it's more of a dramatic performance that Jackie Chan has given, But the thing is, though, I wasn't big on the Foreigner from 2017 with Jackie Chan, though. But I'd rather watch that Foreigner than this Foreigner. God, I don't know where to start with this. Now, also, just bear with me, because I may be going all over the place, because, like I said, this film was so confusing. I don't know what was going on in this movie. So I do apologize if I'm going all over the place, I don't make much sense at all. Just like all of Seagal's direct-to-video movies don't make no sense. Yeah. But for some reason, this film cost $16 million. How this cost $16 million, I have no idea. I think a little cheaper than this. But this is also the start. Also, was several things that will start with this movie and all the rest of his direct-to-video movies, because a lot of times you see a lot of obvious stunt doubles for Seagal, and then a lot of times, including most of his direct-to-video movies, with obvious stunt doubles and bad dubbing. Yeah, because he can't do his own voice. He has to dub his voice. And bad poor editing. When comes lots of action. There's some always bad poor editing or bad camera angles or whatever. And the thing is, the plots, the story, like I said, a lot of times it's so confusing. And convoluted. I don't understand a lot of times what's going on. I'm just watching there, sitting, and I'm like, what's happening? I don't know what's going on. So yeah. So like I said, I do apologize if I'm going to go all over the place, because like I said, I don't barely much remember what happened in this movie. But Steven Seagal, he's a guy that plays. His character's name is John Cold. Yeah, John Cold. Yeah, he's as cold as ice. Yeah, he is cold as ice. Ice, baby, ice. Jeez. How sad. How I think that Vanilla Ice is he's a terrible actor. But I don't know what I was sad. I would rather watch Fill the Ice over these Steven Seagal movies. My God, ice, baby, ice. I'll watch Vanilla Ice in this. Just how sad is that? But yeah, but John Cole. The thing is, though, and his last name is. It fits his character because he is cold. Because basically, he is so cold-hearted. He gets a lot of innocent people killed in this movie. I wonder, he's not really the hero in this movie. He's more of a villain in this movie because he got a lot of innocent people killed in this movie. Like, because part of the plot is, it was like dealing with this package. Most of it was dealing with this package. And when I say how again innocent people killed, because there's an incident at this train station where we see in a bathroom where Seagal's literally taking a piss, and this bad guy come in, right? And which you think the guy has a package, but it's a fake package. It wasn't the real one though. Opens it, and it blows up the whole entire station. And a bunch of innocent people got killed. Now, how I know there's people in this, because we see in the background, there was people walking around in the station. So, yeah, so the whole entire building blows up. So, yeah, Steven Seagal basically got all these innocent people killed. Or, then later on, where one of the bad guy, I forget who's the main bad guy in this, because there's bad guys all over, but there's one bad guy where Steven Seagal, he paid someone to drive his car, right? And when the bad guy finds him, because it's not Steven Seagal, right? The guy says, "Oh, he paid me to drive his car," and the bad guy shoots the innocent bystander. So Seagal basically got another innocent man killed. He paid him to drive his car, which led to his death. So Steven Seagal, this fuckhead, sorry, but I can't believe, I don't apologize because Steven Seagal, like, after he did his direct-to-video films, I lost some respect for Steven Seagal after this, because that's how, I don't care, he's not gonna see this video, so screw it. How ever since then, because, he's just been busy being disrespectful to people, and stuffing his frickin' face with frickin' McDonald's. Because, why I say McDonald's? Because there is one of his other movies where he's sitting in a car, and on the dashboard there's a freaking McDonald's car where you put the car where you put the fries in, right? You see an empty McDonald's fry cart on the dashboard. I'm like, he's been eating McDonald's, has he, off and on our sets or whatever? That's literally in the movie. It's you can see it plain as day. It is one of his movies. I remember. He's probably too be stuffing his face with frickin' McDonald's all the time. And yeah, why don't you just and why don't you just go stay in Russia, because he has that the whole Russian thing, citizen, whatever. Go stay in Russia with your buddy Putin. Fuck him. Fuck Putin. Yeah, why don't you go stay in Russia for I are, because with your whole Russian citizenship or whatever he does, I don't give a damn. God, it's sad how much I loved his 90s or late 80s 90s movies. I love Alfred Justice. I love Under Siege 2. Under Siege 2 is my favorite of his. Well, Alfred Justice is my second favorite. I love Under Siege. On Deadly Ground, people say it's bad though, but it's much better than this. On Deadly Ground was never a bad movie for me. Yeah, you leave out the whole environmental story part though, but as an action film, I enjoyed On Deadly Ground. On Deadly Ground, there was also another scene, which I think was like the only one best part of the movie, where Steven Seagal takes a shotgun and turns it upside down to shoot the guy in a big bloody squib. That was the same thing that Steven Seagal did to Arlie Ermey in On Deadly Ground. Arlie Ermey, may rest in peace, from Full Metal Jacket, right? He was like, that's right, hotshot, take, what do you say, Steven Seagal? That's right, big guy, make your move, and I'm gonna stick the shotgun up your ass and blow the top of your fucking head off. And then Steven Seagal takes the shotgun, just flips around and pulls it, and it just blows a big old hole in Arlie Ermey. And he does the same thing, and he does the same thing to one of these bad guys in this movie. Which I'm sorry, Undeadly Ground was never a bad movie for me. As an action film, it was a good movie. It was. Because you got some good villains, like I said, Arlie Ermy. You got John C. McGinley, Billy Bob Thornton, one of his early roles, and the main villain, Michael Caine. Michael Caine was a good bad guy in that movie. Wherever you see Michael Caine play a bad guy. But Steven Seagal, I think he did and especially he directed that movie as well. As an action film, Steven Seagal did a good job as directing that movie. As an action film, he did. Just leave with the whole environmental stuff, the whole silly thing with him fighting a bear and all that, though. But I still enjoy Undeadly Ground. Fire Down Below, which I just re-reviewed, right? I don't think it was never as bad as people make it out to be either. Marked for Death, I enjoyed, especially the whole thing with the good villains with the twins. Basil was it Basil Wallace, the twins? Screwface. Yeah. I enjoyed Mark for Death. Hard to Kill, I enjoyed. Above the Law, I still like his first movie. I did. The Glimmer Man, I think it was not as bad. So I enjoyed his 90, and like I said, I also like Eggs and Wounds. The only problem I have with his Eggs and Wounds is the whole wire fight, fighting on wires, that was a problem issue. That's another thing. You also get all these wire fights as well, especially when Steven Seagal fights another guy with all the wire work you can see, and then he's acting like he's like a freaking buffoon or baboon, whatever, and I don't know, what was that? Was that another movie? I forget. Was it? I think it was. I think. See, this is what I mean. I think that whole incident. I think it was. Maybe think of another one because there was another one I have like that. See, that's why this film is me confused with all these other movies because basically these direct-to-video movies are basically the same. But there is wire. There is wire work though. I'm saying. What more I can talk about the plot? Basically is dealing with this package and this guy who's a villain. That's something that Steven Seagal partners up with sometimes and. I think it was the CIA. I think he was also dealing with the Chinese mob, I think. No, that's I'm getting confused with another movie, I think. God, yeah. Why? Because they're freaking the same. I'm getting confused with other different plot lines. But it goes from Poland. Was it from? Do I remember? He said, I know he gets to get to Germany. Do I remember he was in France? Because you see the Eiffel Tower right here. Because I know because a lot of times when he shoots stuff in foreign countries because it's cheaper to film. And some of the fights, sometimes obvious Steven Seagal stunt doubles. Sometimes the stunt double is even thinner, than Steven Seagal is. I'm like, jeez. He even had a stunt double where Seagal's stunt double had to jump over this little fence. I'm like, really? You need a stunt double to do that? So, and there's a whole bunch of also confusing bad guys double crossing each other, even triple crossing each other. And I'm just sitting there watching this, just oh my god, man. I don't know I literally have no idea what the hell is going on in this movie. I don't know what all these bad guys. Also, speaking like I said, Game Boy Ways mentioned about. I know. See, I'm going all over the place. I'm going from one subject to another. God. Going with the bad camera angles and bad editing. Because a lot of times where the camera, say this is the camera, right? It sometimes pushes in and out, in and out, in and out. Like we're seeing where he's fighting someone on an escalator, right? When he flips, as he's flipping the whole person over, there's several cutscenes of in and out as he's flipping the guy over this one escalator to another. Or there's one bad guy at this farmhouse, and there was a guy who has scars, right? And they lose the bad guy, the Scarface guy, you could say, doesn't turn like this, right? And they use that same exact shot of him doing like this at the end of the movie. Oh, that time Steven Seagal does shoot that guy. So you literally take a same cutscene like this, take that, copy and paste into the third act of the movie, but that time Steven Seagal does kill that Scarface guy. I'm like, how freaking lazy do you have to be? And also, there was this old lady of the farmhouse, I think it was, that Steven Seagal did not kill though, but the whole place blows up, and it's also freezing cold as well, and they just basically leave the old lady there, basically freezing to death, with the building on fire. I'm like, jeez, yeah, his name is fitting. He is Cold, John Cold or Jonathan Cold. Yeah, he is a cold-hearted bastard, basically. Basically, got an old lady to freeze to death out. He gets a whole building, a train station of people killed, and he also gets another innocent people killed. He gets another innocent guy killed for paying him to drive his car, and the bad guy shoots him for it. So yeah, John Cold, you are the villain of this movie. You got a whole bunch more innocent people killed than the bad guys do. And there's also there was a guy who wears a purple suit as well. I don't remember what his plot of his role in the story is. His role in the plot. I don't care about that. My God. And there was also what I think was a Chinese CIA girl, woman, and there was another guy from the CIA. I think he's also a turncoat. But then also the main guy, the other guy was this guy he's also with all the time. Oh, sometimes he thinks he's dead, but he's not, because he gets shot a bunch of times, but he's still alive still. And Steven Seagal also with another bad guy bad in place. I think it was a factory or something, where he throws a disc. Throws a disc at the guy, so the disc itself is explosive. Throws it at one guy, and the guy just explodes, sparks flying out, and goes flying out of the building. I'm like, so first of all, this disc is an automatic explosive. It throws the guy explodes, and sparks just comes right out of the guy. What is he? I was gonna say Terminator, but I think that maybe that been too on the nose, I think. Or was he? No, not RoboCop. I think, yeah, screw it. Terminator is the best thing, because he's a machine, and sparks fly out of the guy, so. Or a Universal Soldier, because you see, especially in Universal Soldier 2, The Return, when they shoot at the Unisouls, sparks fly out of them, because, they're bulletproof, I'm saying, but either of those, just like, jeez. And this whole thing of the package was. Oh, by the way, like I said, when Steven Seagal's on the phone talking, it's not his voice. It's an obvious poor dubbing, which they say that happens a lot in these Steven Seagal films. Where his dubbing is so terrible. Obviously, it's not his voice. And a lot of times you see you see Steven Seagal's backside because it's his body double, because it's his backside, so he can't show because it's his body double. But the package it was some kind of flight recording, I think it was. And I don't know, I didn't really care. I didn't really care at all, because the plot, the whole plot of this movie was so confusing. I didn't understand what was going on 90% of the time. And that's what happens a lot in these Steven Seagal directed video films, You don't barely understand what's going on. It's so confusing and convoluted. But yeah, all that, along with bad editing, poor camera work, bad dubbing, obvious stunt doubles, especially the double kind of looks thinner than Seagal. And listen, side characters, don't remember any of them. Not even I don't remember. I only remember the second guy, the villain. He's always with. But eventually does kill him at the end. I think he does like a break an arm. I think he does, and then Cry chops a guy. I think it's to the neck, and that was about it. Poor action, basically. Like the best action bit was when he did the same thing to Arlie Ermey on Deadly Ground, where the one bad guy flips the shotgun around and just blows a hole in him. Like I said, just like on Undeadly Ground, but except that's a 5 times better movie than any of these direct-to-video films, hands down. Okay. Undeadly Ground was never that bad for me, but like I said, as an action film, Steven Seagal did a good job with that movie. A lot of the action, like I said, kills Arlie Ermey, blows a big old hole in him. John C. McGinley, tosses him to the helicopter blades. And then with Michael Caine, he just drops him right into his own oil. Got what he deserved. Michael Caine, he was a good villain. He was better villain than any of these direct-to-video movies, And he didn't. And Michael Caine didn't get his hands dirty at all. Well, he didn't. Like, he didn't have no gun or anything though, but he just had his henchmen do all the work. But the thing is, though, even though Michael Caine didn't do much as a villain, but except he wants to with his oil and all that stuff though. But still, he didn't need to have a gun or anything to make him as a good villain though. But he was a good villain in as himself, He was a much better villain than any of these direct-to-video, any bad guy in these direct-to-video movies. I swear. But as I said, on Deadly Ground, even Fire Down Below, like I said, I just re-reviewed. Fire Down Below and On Deadly Ground are not as bad movies as people make it out to be. And this is, like I said, it was just. I do apologize if I'm going all over the place because I said at the start of this video, a lot of these have this kind of the same kind of plots, and stuff. And I just don't remember much because I was being so confused about what was going on. I don't remember what was happening. I do apologize. Like, the main focus of the thing was this package. That was the thing I remember. Going basically from point A to point B then to point C, basically. This director, Michael Oblowitz, whatever, stopped making movies. Well, I think he did another movie after this called Out for a Kill. I think he did. I think that was the one I had to. I was mistaken for another movie when I was saying some things in this movie that I think was in that movie. I think. See. And this film got a sequel called Red Dawn. Not fucking Red Dawn, Black Dawn. I think it was. Yeah. This film got a sequel and great. I would rather watch Red Dawn. Kind of, and yeah, listen. Steven Seagal, his name is he is a cold-hearted bitch, basically. That's what his last name suggests. He's a cold-hearted bastard. He got a lot of innocent people killed. He's the villain of this movie than the actual villain, or what villain, or whatever. Or which other villain, because there's so many villains, I don't remember which. There was a guy that was with Seagal, there's the purple suit guy, and the Scarface guy. Like I said, they use the same shot we was like this in the farmhouse. They save that, they cut that piece, that scene, till the end of the movie, till Seagal does shoot him. Lazy editing. Horrible dubbing. Bad act, obviously, like I said, obvious stunt doubles, like I said. Listen, one is actually thinner than Seagal is. But yeah, but like I said, this 20 years later, it still sucks. It is still this is the start of his shitty direct-to-video films ever since. God, man, I'm just so tired. I said, you know what, to Steven Seagal, I like your early movies, your late 80s, 90s movies. I love them. Okay, the thing is, You know, he's such an egotistical person. He thinks that he's better than Van Damme, and I'm sorry, Van Damme. Even Van Damme's direct-to-video movies are better than his direct-to-video movies because there are some direct-to-video movies that Van Damme made that I like In Hell or Wake of Death or there was another one I liked. That was of Van Damme's. Damn, I'm looking right here. I don't want to keep on pausing right now. Oh, and even Dolph Lundgren's direct-to-video movies are better. Yeah, because also there was a couple of direct-to-video films from Dolph Lundgren I enjoyed as well. Dolph Lundgren is much better. It's either Van Damme's or Dolph Lundgren's direct-to-video movies are much better than any of Seagal's. You know, at least both of Dolph Lundgren and Van Damme's have some talent behind some of those direct-to-video movies, like especially in casts and stuff like that. You know, especially we'll say with Van Damme. You know, what Seagal thinks is better than Van Damme. Van Damme can fly circles around Seagal because first of all, Van Damme he still keeps in shape. We hear Seagal stuffs his face full of McDonald's all the time. Because like I said, there was one of his direct-to-video movies, you literally see in the car, in the dashboard, you see a McDonald's fry carton. Jeez, man. That's why I've lost respect for Seagal, you know, ever since, you know. For the past 20 years, I've lost respect for since then, you know. They stay in freaking Russia with your little buck buddy Putin, you know. Fuck him too. He's a piece of shit too. Like I said, I love Alpha Justice. I love Under Siege 2. I love the first Under Siege 2. I love Fire Down Below is not that bad. Undeadly Ground is not that bad. I like Exit Wounds. Glimmerman is not that bad either. Hard to Kill. Above the Law. Mark for Death. This is sad, you know. You know, sometimes he needs to get off his freaking high horse. Think he's the king of shit, and he is. Well, not that good. He is literally the king of shit of shitty direct-to-video movies. I don't care. Just get a little road rage from that. But yeah, The Foreigner. Like I said, I apologize for not being so thorough on this because, like I said, what plot is there? There's so many things going on. I don't know what's the main plot of it. But yeah, I'd rather watch the 2017 The Foreigner with Jackie Chan instead. But I'm not really big on that either, though. But still, because I like Jackie Chan. As old as he's up there in age too, he would still probably kick Seagal's ass. Even Van Damme or even goddamn Dolph Lundgren, even freaking Chuck Norris would. At least they're not so egotistical like he is. All of them, each individually, would beat the living shit out of Seagal. Now, if they were in their prime, maybe, I don't know. From back then, that would be a different story. But now, yes, they can. All of them can kick Seagal's ass right now. But anyway, yeah, you can say that's my review on The Foreigner. You know, whatever the story was. I'm sorry, like I said before. And I said this in advance, so like I said. Hey, but this is how it is for a lot of Seagal's direct-to-video movies, you know. Basically, the same confusing plot, same confusing whatever, you know. If you don't believe me, go watch the movie yourself. You know, good luck to you, you know. Watch The Foreigner, and wherever you can, if you can get through if you're lucky enough to get through 2 or 3 of his other ones, and you'll see what I'm talking about. You'll be just as confused as I was. If you do, good luck to you, you know. To any of you who wants to take that leap of faith, you can say. But yeah, start with The Foreigner. You probably just go a couple upwards, and you'll see what I'm talking about. But yeah, whatever, that's my so-called review on The Foreigner. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next movie review, and we'll see you next time. Later.